If you're struggling to win fights in Chapter 6, then you're in luck, because today I'm teaching all of you how to become the best fighter possible in Chapter 6, so if you guys do enjoy, make sure you are subscribed. But now let's get into the first way to become a better fighter. Now first up, let's talk about playstyle. Now everyone's playstyle is going to be different, but one thing you need to understand is that your loadout is going to determine your playstyle. So let's say you have a really good up close fighting loadout, you have a box fight loadout with a really good shotgun and an SMG, then you should be playing close up fights and trying to box fight other people because that's where your skills are. Or instead, let's say you have a really good AR and you have movement. Okay, then you should be trying to get really big opening damage from decent distances away and then close that distance with your movement. So make sure that whatever loadout you have, you're catering to that playstyle so that you can have a smoother game. Now to become the best fighter possible, you're obviously going to have to learn how to take walls. So let's show you the best possible way to take walls while avoiding taking damage. Now one example is right here. I'm the Catwoman skin trying to fight this snorkel ops. Now when I go for this wall, I'm not going to just stand up next to it so that the other person can edit and shoot me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place a simple cone in the box that I'm in. But I'm going to do even more than that. I'm going to flip this cone with the back 3 tiles so that it makes an inverted cone. Now what this is going to do is, as you can see, it counters any right hand peek the opponent makes. A peanut butter, boom, it counters it. A window edit, boom, it counters it. Now notice, since I have this set up, I can look down to the right side and I can spray the wall from a safe angle without the other player being able to see me, and that means that I can steal the wall. Now after I steal this wall, I'm going to be even smarter to ensure that I don't take any damage. After I obviously steal the wall, I'm going to edit, and this player is going to flip up his cone. Now when he does this, I'm going to steal the cone as my own, but I'm going to reset, because you're going to notice as soon as I reset the wall, he turns back to look at me with a shotgun. If I don't do this, he'll look back and shoot straight at me with a wide edit. So I make sure to reset so that when he tries to turn around, he's going to try and shoot the wall to replace it back for his own. But I'm going to hold the wall to ensure that he doesn't. So when he does that, then I'm able to edit and safely make a wide edit because he shoots, and I'm able to crack him and he gets out of the box. But I do end up picking this kill up just because I played that box fight perfectly. So make sure if you're taking walls, you're doing this. Next up, we're going to be talking about one of the most important parts of this video, and probably the one that you should take away from this video, which is counter damage. Now counter damage basically just means when someone cracks you or lasers you, you do counter damage back so that they can't keep pressuring you. Now one example of counter damage is right here. As you can see, I'm just chilling right here and I'm about to get lasered. Now when I get lasered, I'm not even going to think about meting up right here, because if I just box up, he's just going to continue to pressure me. So I need to do counter damage so that he'll stop pushing me. So as soon as I get lasered, I turn around, instantly pull out my AR, sprint up to my ramp, because I know this player will probably leave himself exposed because he thinks he has an advantage. So he instantly sprints over, but he's not building. So that means that when he jumps in the air, I've now cracked him, and I slow his pace down a little bit. As you can see, now I start to meta and I can get some minis off so that when I go into this fight, I'm a little more healthy. And now that obviously I'm a little more healthy, I can start to play the fight properly. Next up, we're going to be talking about one of the most important things we're going to be covering today, and that is angles. Angles are super important because if you can take a peek without taking damage while doing damage, you're going to end up winning way more fights because you can be way more aggressive. Now there's 2 ways to play good angles. There's good angles with spraying guns and there's good angles with shotguns. Now I'm going to be showing you an example of both. Right here, this is a great angle to spray from, because obviously from my POV, if you were to look at mine, you can obviously see that I could see this player's head, everything. I can just see everything. But if we were to look at the other player's POV, he literally can barely see anything from this angle, right? He couldn't even hit my head if he wanted to. Even if he was trying to spray, this is just a terrible angle to peek from because his vision is really impaired from that angle. But from my angle, I can completely see him. So that's a great angle to take. And after I get a big crack of opening damage, I'm going to play good angles with a shotgun, which is obviously the most important part. Now, when I go up to this player's wall, obviously, I'm going to make a box diagonally, and then you are going to set up a peanut butter peek just like this. Now, once I set up this peek, obviously, I'm in a perfect angle to spray for the wall and take it. Now, I'm able to steal the wall. But right after I steal this wall and I edit, notice my movement. I'm going to swing back left behind the box. I was up here on the box and now I fall down. What this means is that I'm very protected when I make this jump peek. Instead of me standing here, imagine I was still standing here, the player shoots me and I take damage back. But instead, I'm from this good peek and I make a simple jump shot and I get some damage. Now after this, the player's obviously trying to double edit up and he's trying to go out. Now always when they do this, when they flip a cone, anything, any build, it's always going to be super weak, and you can take that chance to spread the floor and try and replace it with your own cone. And then obviously I pick up a simple kill from taking good peeks. So make sure you're doing things like this to end fights quicker. Next up, we're going to be talking about pressure. Now, pressure is very important because after you get a big hit of damage, you need to understand that you can't let that other player med up. So you need to apply pressure so that they're not able to. Now, right here in this fight, this player is running away and he uses his little orb and he teleports. Now, at this point, I'm already looking where the orb's teleporting so I can crack him as he's falling. Now, when he boxes up again, I instantly throw my orb and try and catch up with him because I don't want him to have any time to med up. Now, when I get here, I instantly swap to my SMG because it's my best weapon for pressuring, and I instantly spray it on his box. Now, after pressuring this player with this SMG, I notice that he obviously doesn't have a cone in his box or a ramp, anything. And that means that if I want to get him out of this box, I obviously have to forcefully push him out. So I throw a cone in his box. Now, obviously, it doesn't get him captured, but that's okay because when I throw this cone in his box, it forces him to leave. So now that I know he's going to leave, I simply just back up, backpedal, and I anticipate where he's going to go. And when he wide edits, he just walks right into my shotgun, and I'm able to pick up a kill while also applying pressure. So make sure you're applying pressure to end fights more quickly. Now, I think a lot of players may get themselves to endgame, but they always struggle with positioning. So I'm going to be showing you how to position yourself properly in every scenario. Now, one example is right here. As you can see, this player is dropping on my box, and he wants to box fight me. This is a really bad time to box fight because zone's pulling and it's pulling all the way up this hill. I don't want to fight this because if zone gets on my back, I'll be screwed. So I need to make sure that I don't let that happen. So I disengage from the fight, make myself a little bit of space, and as soon as I make a little bit of space, I instantly look at where I need to go. I'm not focused on the fight anymore. I don't even care what this guy's doing. I look at where I need to go and I throw my orb and I get to the front of zone before anyone else. Now, this is very important because as you can see, once I get to this front of zone, I only have to worry about what's in front of me. I don't have to worry about what's behind me because obviously there's nothing there. And that means that I can serve a ton of mats while also being able to output damage. And that is very important because that means that I can just look down at everybody and I can obviously pick up free kills like the one right here. I'm in a better position, so I have a better angle and I can pick up a free kill. Now, by the way, this doesn't only apply to endgame. Imagine off spawn. You land in the middle of a POI. You have to look at everywhere around you and worry about every angle. But if you work your way around the edge of a POI, you only have to worry about what's in front of you. So this applies to basically every part of the game. So make sure you're remembering this when you're dropping in, when you're in an end game, anything like that. Now, positioning is one of the most important things, but learning when to give up on a fight is even more important. Now, one example is right here. We're in a top 3 situation, and obviously zone is pulling, and it's going to pull basically up to where this zip line is. So I need to make sure that I get here before anyone else, but I also need to make sure that I don't get too invested in a fight. Right here, I slide down the hill. I see this player, right? Obviously, I'm going to shoot at him, so I crack him, and obviously, I could push this right now. I could go get in his box, and I could try and box fight him. But by the time I finish that fight, I would be stuck at the back of zone. So I immediately give up on the fight and I look for my rotation first. Because if I get up to zone early, that just means that I could just spray this player instead of having to box fight him and burn a bunch of mats. And since I do this, that is literally the outcome. Look, I literally just get to the front of zone and I'm able to hold him, and eventually he just gets caught too much and he's just struggling too much, and I'm able to just spray through and I'm able to pick up a simple kill. Just because I got myself in a great position, and this great position allows me to win the game as well. So make sure that you're avoiding the right fights while also having good positioning. Again, those go hand in hand. Now that's going to wrap up this video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you are subscribed, and if you want to see more content like this, go check out these 2 videos, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.